Hi, Shamara.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I know it's hard when, you're trying to like work and kids got school and activities and you've got your own activities. That's probably why you go to the gym early, right?
That's where I go before everybody
Prior
wakes
to
up.
his school and everything. Yeah.
That way
Yeah,
I
that
don't
is,
have any excuse.
yeah, it's tough. Like, I know that's, just a lot to juggle all at once. So,
Absolutely, yeah. And so, hi, honey.
yeah. Well,
Um,
we'll get done what we can today, and then if you just want to put a pause for a little bit till your husband's back, that's okay too. So yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in. So, do you have any thoughts on what you would like to focus on today?
um, gosh, it has been a little bit since we've been gotten together.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I think we were working on I think we were I've got my notes here. Um, a fresh brew coffee.
Yes.
I think yeah, we didn't get to that particular one, but I
That's
think we
all
were kind of
right.
working on commercial, like narrative
Right.
type
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, working on narration, commercial work. Some of my notes were like leaning more into the pauses, observing the punctuation a bit more. Something that was working well was emphasizing important words and having a strong point of view. So, do you want to stay kind of on that same track? I do have some of the scripts from prior, but we also can work on new ones too. So, if you have a script there that you want to look at first, we can definitely do that.
No, I threw one in the chat that was the I think the one we didn't get to.
Okay, perfect. Great. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one first. So, short and sweet. A lot of the time, the ads are going to be a little more succinct, a little bit shorter because they pay for each second that they're on the air. So, like a Super Bowl commercial that's really short can be like 10 grand. Um, so commercials tend to be a little bit short, but to the point and, packing a powerful punch in that short amount of time. I really like that here we have some bold lettering. We've got really good punctuation. We've got some italics. So they've already done a really good job of laying it out for us where we know what they want us to emphasize. So they kind of give us some guidance and direction already just in the way they wrote it out, which is really nice. So, go ahead and take a silent read through one time, kind of process that in your mind, and then go ahead and give it a whirl. Let's do that first take.
All right. Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee, rich, bold flavor that fuels your day. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. Grab your bag of fresh brew at your local store today and start sipping the coffee that's made to move you. Fresh brew coffee, because mornings should feel this good.
Nice. I think we're off to a really good start there. So, what was your number one thing that you liked about what you just did?
I got through it.
You
I was
definitely
first
did.
time the
Yes.
worst of is always yeah the worst. So we did
Oh,
it.
yeah, just getting that first take. I agree. That can be the hardest part, just getting it going. And then after that it gets easier. So I like to call that my stumble through, that first read through. Awesome. So I already hear you sound very cheerful, upbeat, which is what they want, enthusiasm, they said there. Um, so I already am hearing that. I'm hearing the exclamation points. So really nice there. So one thing I noticed is you have a little bit of a higher pitch in your voice than like for some of the other scripts we've done. Um, you sound like you put this nice like accent, so we get that feeling of that enthusiastic exclamation point at the end of those phrases. Um, I feel like you're thinking about the emphasis of certain words. So already some of those really key elements. So if you were going to do it again, what's maybe the number one thing you'd focus on?
I probably would slow it down just a little bit more, and I
Okay.
would try to adhere a little bit more to some of the punctuation, like I mentioned.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was actually something that I was thinking as well, like observing the rich, comma, bold flavor, or fuels your day, dash, no fuss, comma, right? So, I mean, it feels like it's pretty frequent, but then it's very clear how they want the phrasing. Rich, bold flavor that fuels your day, no fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. They've already given us those gaps, um, which is really helpful for us. I hate when I get a script that has just like no punctuation throughout. I'm like, then I just have to decide all of that for myself, which makes it a little more challenging. Um, I might do it a little differently than what I just did. I might do like rich, bold flavor that fuels your day. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup, like so I might like play with it a few times. And I think that's a key element too, is just experimenting and seeing what you like best. And you might go, oh, I really liked the way I just did that, but I would change this part. And so just doing a few different takes is always helpful. So let's go ahead and try that again, focusing more on the punctuation.
Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee, rich, bold flavor that fuels your day. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. Grab your bag of fresh brew at your local store today and start sipping the coffee that's made to move you. Fresh brew coffee, because mornings should feel this good.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah, I love that. And, if we put some music in the background, I mean, it's definitely going to be having that energy. Love that. Wonderful job there. So I definitely heard the punctuation more, the phrase shapes. I also felt like you did a really nice job of continuity throughout each phrase. So having that smooth, connected flow through each connected thought. So like your local store today, comma, and start sipping the coffee that's made to move you. Where it like when it was that stretch that they've given us, keeping that really smooth and flowing. I thought you did a really nice job of that this time. Um, I felt like the time before that felt a little more choppy. Felt like you were maybe trying to lean into those. Sorry, I still have a little bit of a sinus infection. So, um, but yeah, I definitely felt like you were maybe like accenting words more, which made it feel a little more choppy. And this time we still had the emphases, but it had a little more flow to it as well. So, depending on whatever kind of vibe we want for this particular commercial or they want, I think that's really great to have that ability to pull that out so that like longer phrases, I like to do a little more fluidly like that. Um, and then there's a lot more contrast between the sections, like the rich, bold flavor section. And then when you have that next segment of the grab your bag of fresh brew at your local store today, where it has these longer stretches, it's a really nice contrast. So I really like that. Awesome. Is there anything that you would change about it at this point?
No, I think I would just do, several other takes because I feel like every time it's completely different.
Yeah,
So,
you learn a little something new. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go through this time and let's play a little more with some pitch variation, some rising and falling, a little bit more variety with that. Okay?
okay. Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee, rich, bold flavor that fuels your day. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. Grab your bag of fresh brew at your local store today and start sipping the coffee that's made to move you. Fresh brew coffee, because mornings should feel this good.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's the first time I heard you do that last line like that. Morning should feel this good. Yeah, like that it's um like you emphasize the should, and I really liked that like the morning shouldn't feel like a drag or, dismal
Like
or
it
like
normally does.
yeah, yeah, the morning should feel like a really positive, like excited for the day kind of energy. Yeah. And so um that felt a little bit different to me this time. Good. All right. So then anything you observed that time?
um, I don't know. I felt like me thinking about trying to have more dynamics in my voice. I felt like I was back to being a little bit more choppy. So I think I would
Okay.
practice that a bit more.
Which honestly I didn't mind. And like I was saying before too, I think that there can be times where it's a little more choppy and times where it's a little more fluid. So, um yeah, I think that that can be a choice too for what we want. So why don't we try, let's take a character inspiration. So who do you think is someone who would do a really nice job of reading this particular script?
I don't know. Anytime I think of the word coffee, I think of like somebody who's kind of got like a Fran Drescher kind of, I don't know, New Jersey or
Mm.
I don't know, something kind of
That
like
would be pretty fun and a really different take
coffee,
than what we've been doing for sure.
coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
Mornings with fresh brew coffee. But I just don't think I could do it for the whole thing just because I'm like, how would I say this? I don't know. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I in an interview with Margot Robbie, she said she had a coach who told her just pretend she had really long acrylic fingernails, and she was like, and then it just kind of like came out. I just found it. Like I thought that was really cute. I was like, I'm gonna try that now whenever I have to do that. Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee. Rich, bold flavor that fuels your day. It's, and
no
I
fuss,
always think of that.
fresh
Yes.
every cup.
Yeah, or
Grab
I'll
your
think of like the I'm walking here. Like I like to pull specific phrases that help me get into a certain dialect or accent. So like won't spill coffee on my dog. Like I'll have certain phrases that help me fall into that. Um, or I'll like to think of a particular character from something and try to emulate them. Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee, and I try to just like channel that character. Is there a certain character so you said Fran Drescher from The Nanny. So if we try to be like, the nanny, or you could play like her best friend or her mom. Um, so let's just give it a go. Just like a fun, just try it and see what happens.
okay. Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee, rich, a bold flavor that fuels your day. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. Grab your bag of fresh brew at your local store today and start sipping the coffee that's made to move you. Fresh brew coffee, because mornings should feel this good.
Nice. Yeah, I agree that it certain phrases felt stronger with the dialect than others, but I think that's something you run into all the time that certain phrases are going to have more or less of certain sounds. And so then some phrases naturally are not going to feel like it's as strong of a dialect. Um, But there were some phrases that I was like, "Ooh, that was really good," you know? Um, and even just having like a little bit of the color of the character, I think is just so fun to play with. So what did you like about that take?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, I thought it was really fun. Um,
It was fun to try, but I would, yeah.
what if you tried it again with the same kind of like character energy, but not really necessarily trying for the dialect?
Okay, I could try it. Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee. Rich, bold flavor that fuels your day. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. Grab your bag of fresh brew at your local store today and start sipping the coffee that's made to move you. Fresh brew coffee, because mornings should feel this good.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah, I definitely felt like it keeps a character that's really different from your natural default kind of energy. Um, I felt like it was a little bit flirty at times. Um, it feels like pretty peppy to me. And even just like your vocal tone changed a little bit. So what were some of the things that you noticed that felt different?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt different from the others. I was trying to give that same essence that I had before, but without trying to an accent. Um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so I think it was all right. Made me feel more towards Valley Girl than.
I could see that. It felt very confident, feminine. So I like a little more bubbly. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Yeah. So let's try it again now that we've kind of played with a few different styles, different takes. Just follow your instincts.
I just want to. I just want to point out that when it says "made to move you," it makes me want to laugh every time because every person that I know is always like, "Coffee makes me go to the bathroom," and
Oh,
like it makes me every time I just want to burst out laughing.
that's so funny. Yeah, because it's like a double entendre
Like
there.
it's
Yeah.
made to move you. Yeah. So I don't know. I
That
think
is funny. It's like a little hidden joke woven in there.
yes. So I like it though. I
That's cute. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way to like get that in there. So I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm over here laughing just because I think it's so terrible. Okay. Okay. Wake up your mornings with fresh brew coffee, rich, bold flavor that fuels your day. No fuss, just fresh energy in every cup. Grab your bag of fresh brew at your local store today and start sipping the coffee that's made to move you. Fresh brew coffee, because mornings should feel this good. Yeah.
All righty. Very nice. Okay. So how did you like that take? That I felt like was different than all the others.
I was trying to be funny. Um, at least at the made to move you. And then, like I said, then I went to the next line and I was like, morning should feel this good. And I'm like, this, whoever wrote this had jokes.
Yes, I know, right? Yeah, that they're like slipping them in. I always think whenever I watch children's movies, there are always all these jokes that just go like right over the kids' heads. And so when I go back and watch movies that I watched as a kid now, I'm like, wow, this just hits completely differently.
I always think like Shrek and yeah, my husband
Right.
about this all the time. Have you ever watched Bluey?
I haven't watched Bluey, so I'll
Full
check
of
it out.
adult humor.
Clever jokes, yeah, woven in.
The kids
Yeah.
love it because like it's kind of cool to see how the parents play with the kids or whatever. But
Hmm.
like the way the parents are playing, it makes you laugh because there's like a sarcastic bit,
Right.
it's just like this is exactly how it really is. It's just
Yeah. Or things that like harken to things or like they weave stuff in and you're like, "Oh, that's funny because it they wove in something from this or that." I always think it's funny too because my husband and I have pretty different backgrounds. And so we'll laugh at different things, and he's like, why was that funny? And then like we have different things we find humorous, like him with his science background, or like I'll find things funny that are like, oh, that's from this musical or whatever that he doesn't know. And so it's always fun to, like be like, why was that funny? And like find the things that, or like he loves absurdist humor and sometimes like, I just wouldn't ever see certain things that he'll expose me to and then I'm like, "Oh, that is funny. Like that's really clever or whatever." So, yeah, it's always fun seeing the different senses of humor. But yeah, I always like watching kids shows and movies because I'm just like, "Wow, like I would have completely missed so much of this as a kid." Um yeah, I really liked that. It was very upbeat. It was a little bit of a brighter tone, like your vocal tone was a little bit brighter. I felt like we went to that kind of standard American neutral dialect, which I think works great for most things, because it's more of like a broad audience accessible. Um, I felt like you went a little bit faster, but we didn't lose the phrasing or the accents or like the punctuation. So a lot of really positives there. That was awesome. Um, yeah, so I found a few that I think would be good, like contrasting ones. One that I found, it's a little bit shorter, but it actually talks about New Zealand, which I thought was kind of fun. And I figure that with having lived there and stuff, like you probably are pretty adventurous and stuff. So I was like, oh, I feel like this would be a good one to look at because it talks about like exploring and um yeah, so I was like, oh, I feel like you do a really nice job with this one. This one though doesn't give us the like accents and like the layout as much as the previous one. So that means you have to decide what you're going to do with it. And sometimes that happens where you'll get a script and they don't really give you anything. And your agent or whoever is just like, record it, do something, and I'll send it in. And you're like, okay. So, what do you think when you look at it?
well, I mean, I think it's gonna need to have a little energy because it's talking about adventure.
Yeah.
There's also this like with like a I don't know what's the word like where we don't just see the world, we're conquering it.
Oh, yeah. Right. Like you want to climb that mountain, not just look at it down in the valley, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So this is a little bit more like a live strong or like a, like motivational, I feel like. And like I feel like what are some brands that you can think of that have like I feel like Subaru has like a really big brand loyalty and it's all about like adventure and the outdoors, Um or if I think of like Patagonia, like people who are like, yeah, like I love going out and camping and like being in the great outdoors, like they have such a good brand loyalty and
North Face and
mission. Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's very like motivational, energetic, inspirational, and they're like, the mountains are calling and I must go. So, yeah, so and I like to how it also has like, the adventure of but then also like, being at home as well. Like these shoes will carry you anywhere you need to go. So yeah, yeah, so what do you think this first take, what's going to be your focus?
um I'm gonna try to have energy. And I'm going to focus on the punctuation for this initial one and see how it goes.
Okay.
All right. You don't just see the world, you conquer it. From the trails of New Zealand to the streets of your own hometown. Adventure isn't a vacation, it's a calling. At Terrabound, we build gear for explorers who never stop moving forward. Where will you go next?
Nice. Good. Yeah, and I can just imagine like with the visuals and the music, it would be very inspiring. So what did you like that you just did, and what would you say would be like your next step with that?
Yeah, I didn't like it so much. I mean, the beginning wasn't too bad. I think, you know, I, you don't just see the world, you conquer it. I didn't think I did too bad on that, and then it kind of got crappy after that.
I also felt like the beginning was actually stronger and then we kind of tapered off with like the energy seemed like it tapered off a little bit to me. So
Yeah.
I would love to try maybe we just try like the last line. Give me like a really strong take of the last line.
So you mean where will you go next, or at Terrabound?
Yeah, let's try just the last line alone. Where will you go next? And say it with like big energy, like a really impactful take of that.
Where will you go next?
Yeah, try it a few different ways. Try it like 5 different ways.
Where will you go next? Where will you go next? Where will you go next? Where will you go next?
Yeah,
Where
I like how you tried emphasizing different words. I think that's a great way to approach that. Um, which word did you feel like worked best to emphasize?
I don't know. I liked where will you go next, I think the best.
Okay, yeah, like where? Yeah, what's next? Where are you gonna go? Yeah, and that kind of like I think prompts them to really question and ask themselves that, like, where do I want to go next? What's the next adventure? And I think that's something you want. You want them to be asking that themselves that, right? If it was a different setting or context, it could be like, well, I'm going here. Where are you gonna go? But in this setting, it's posing that to them like, what's your next adventure? Yeah, like where next? Um, so cool. So let's try the last two lines now.
My only thing was you mentioned 7 o'clock, and it is seven.
Okay, well, we're good because Rahi is not here yet, so we're good to try it again. So let's try the last two lines of the script now. So do from the at Terrabound.
At Terrabound, we build gear for explorers who never stop moving forward. Where will you go next?
Nice. Yeah. I do think I would probably try to kind of like spotlight Terrabound a little bit more because that's the only time we hear the brand. So I probably would try to like be sure I really lean into that just because they only hear it the one time. Can we try that again?
At Terrabound, we build. We build.
Hey, I do that all the time. I do silly little things. I'm like, what?
What was I saying?
I
Okay,
know. Yeah, it's just because we have so many things we're thinking about at once. And I feel like a lot of people are like, you're just reading off a page. And I'm like, there is so much
stuff
to think
going
about all at once. So, like, build, it's not a word we'd think we'd fumble on.
build. Got it.
Yeah, try that again.
At Terrabound, we build gear for explorers who never stop moving forward. Where will you go next?
Oh, I loved that. That was my favorite take so far. Yeah. I feel like we always want to have a really strong start, and then we always want to have a super strong ending as well. So when you enter and when you exit, you want to really make those moments really strong. Um, so let's try the entire script again. I loved that ending. I would say it's not unusual that when you're recording that they might ask you like, "Can you say just this line again?" Um, and then in the editing process, they'll sort of piece it together the way that they want. So what I just had you do actually is not going to be an unusual request. But let's go ahead and try the entire script again.
You don't just see the world, you conquer it. From the trails of New Zealand to the streets of your own hometown. Adventure isn't a vacation, it's a calling. At Terrabound, we build gear for explorers who never stop moving forward. Where will you go next?
Nice. Good. Yeah, very nice. I think if I give you one comment, I think I would say maybe like pose it like a challenge to them, um, some people see the world, but you conquer it. You see those mountains and you're like, I'm gonna climb to that peak. You see that you could go on a hiking tour, or you could, go like get some ice picks and scale the side of the mountain. Like you're the kind of person that's gonna scale the side of the mountain. Um, you're gonna sit through all-nighters in Iceland waiting for the Northern Lights to show up, in the freezing cold. Like that's you. So I feel like I would probably lean a little more into like the challenge of it, that it's like it's exciting and it's like, you don't want to just like watch Discovery Channel. You want to get out there and in it. So I might do a little more of that kind of energy. Can we try that?
You don't just see the world, you conquer it. From the trails of New Zealand to the streets of your own hometown, adventure isn't a vacation, it's a calling. At Terrabound, we build gear for explorers who never stop moving forward. Where will you go next?
Nice. Yeah, I like that even better. Yeah, so the beginning felt a little different to me that time. Um, and I like that where it's like you're an adventurer, you're getting out there, you're exploring, you're conquering. We still have that like comfort of our hometown and it's so endearing, and reliability and everything. But yeah, it's like I really like that feeling too of like you go out and you explore and you conquer and then you come back to home. I just felt like it has a really nice arc to it now where it feels like a really distinct beginning, middle, and end came through. Beautiful. Love it. All right, so I have a little PDF that I just uploaded to the chat. If you want to download that, it's four more commercial scripts that I thought might be a good fit for you to work with, a little variety to play with over the next however many weeks while we go on pause, and then we can start back whenever your husband's back in town and you're not feel like it's too much to juggle. And Miss Rahi did just pop up in the waiting room, so I'm gonna let you download that, and then we'll switch over, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the future then, okay?
All right, yeah, I'll send you a text like ahead of time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just so we'll go on a pause for now and yeah, don't worry about me. I'll be here whenever you're ready. I know there are seasons of life, so if you need to prioritize some other things right now, that's okay. So you have a good rest of your evening and I'll see you in the future.
Thank you, Andy. I'll see you
Bye,
later.
Shamara. No problem at all. Have a good one.